Hi, everybody. Just wanted to do a quick update on my recent book, Sighting In on the Zodiac Killer, Unmasking America's Most Puzzling Unsolved Murders. First of all, if you purchased the book, I'd like to say thank you. And if you haven't already done so, please leave a review for it on Amazon.com if you can. One thing that I found recently, obviously, and that's why it's not in the book, is a engagement notice for Don Chaney and his then bride-to-be. It came out in July 22nd, 1962. If you've seen my other videos on this channel, or of course if you read the book, you know that Don Chaney is my main person of interest in the Zodiac murders. And what's interesting in this article is that it mentions that Don Chaney was in the Air Force. I did not know that before. I don't think that's been anywhere in on any Zodiac message board. I didn't even know it when I did extensive research for the book, but here it was buried in the wedding announcement, and I'll read it right now. Dated Sunday morning, July 22nd, 1962. Hathaway and Chaney betrothal announced. Mr. and Miss Richard Hathaway, 955 Glen Avenue, announced the engagement and forthcoming marriage of their daughter, Anne Marion, to Donald Lee Chaney, 685 North Park Avenue. The couple will be married on September 8. Mr. Chaney is the son of Mr. and Miss Theodore E. Chaney of Bakersfield, a 1957 graduate of Pomona High School. Miss Hathaway is also a Mount San Antonio College graduate. She is employed as an engineering secretary at Emerson Prine Company and is a member of the Collegers at the Pilgrim Congregational Church. An engineering student at Cal Poly, the bridegroom-to-be is chairman of the Society of Automotive Engineers and a member of the Mechanical Engineers Club at the college. Mr. Chaney graduated from Kern County Union High School and Bakersfield College. He served 2 years in the Air Force. There you have it. 2 years in the Air Force. I was also able to confirm that with a city directory, which I'll put that up here too, where it mentions his addresses being in the Air Force or something like that when he was in Bakersfield. That's something that wasn't known before about Don, that he was in the military. Even when he talked about Arthur Lee Allen being in the Navy, he never brought up the fact that he was in the Air Force. Maybe he was hiding that for some reason. Of course, when you're thinking about the military, as far as the Zodiac goes, of course, everybody's going to think about the wing walker shoe. Now, obviously, Chaney was in the Air Force in 1958. I doubt the Zodiac was wearing a 10-year-old pair of shoes at Lake Berryessa, but people do relate that shoe to not just the military, but to specifically the Air Force, because wing walkers are people that were working on planes as mechanics. Well, if Don was studying automotive mechanics and he was in the Air Force, I'm pretty sure he was probably doing, airplane mechanic stuff while he was in the Air Force and would have definitely known about the shoe. He was also a mechanical engineer, so a non-slip shoe like the wing walker print that was found at Lake Berryessa would have also been something that he could have used as a mechanical engineer working at various power plants, which I talk about in the book. So, but for all the people that were always so gung-ho on the fact that the Zodiac had to be military, well, there you have it. He had 2 years in the Air Force. It's something that just wasn't known before, and now it is. Another thing I recently found out about Don was in 1965, he was living in downtown San Francisco. There was a newspaper report. It was a birth announcement for the birth of his son, which was in 1965, and it gave his address at 268 Gay Street. So if you saw some, the early interviews with Don Chaney when he's talking about his friend Arthur Lee Allen being the Zodiac Killer, I think one he mentions that at the time he was early on, he was living in Concord, which isn't real far from Vallejo where a lot of the activity took place. But as we know, the last Zodiac murder was in downtown San Francisco near the Presidio, the murder of cab driver Paul Stein at Washington and Cherry Street. Now, this particular house, which is still there, you can see a picture of it, is not that close to the Presidio, but it is in downtown San Francisco, so it just shows he was familiar with that area. So it's just something I wanted to add, and that's it for now. If you haven't bought the book, please do so. I'd greatly appreciate it, and please like and subscribe to the channel if you can. Thank you.